Hi guys, we are starting with the day 8 of selected problems from InfyTQ from the first module, Programming Fundamentals with Python. So the first problem of day 8 is we have to write a Python function that is check underscore anagram which accepts toString and returns true. As we had done before, what was an anagram? Anagram of a string was that two strings when they contain the same letters and they are occurring for the same amount of times, that is the frequency of the letters are same, then they are called to be an anagram. Along with this, here they are specified that two strings are considered to be anagram also if they contain repeating characters but none of the characters repeat at the same position. For example, here you have a sample input as backward and drawback. Both have A in their sixth position, right? So we cannot in an anagram we cannot have characters repeating at the same position, therefore it would say that it is false or it is not an anagram. And we have been also told to assume that we can perform insensitive comparison wherever applicable. So we would be basically converting the case of the entire word and then we would be comparing them. Okay, so the sample inputs here are eat and tea. Eat and tea both have the same letters and the letters are not repeating at the same position, therefore it is said to be true as it is an anagram. Backward and drawback, as we had discussed before, it was not a anagram. About and table, let's see the last sample input. About and table has a letter as L which is not present in about. Similarly for about, U is present but U is not present in table, so they are not an anagram obviously as they do not have the same set of letters, and thus we would be returning false. Let's go into our PyCharm and let's just code this. First let's create a directory as day 8. Sorry, I created a Python file instead. Let's just delete this thing and create a directory. So it would be new directory day 8, and let's just create a new Python file as the problem number is 39 in this case. So problem 39, and let's just create a Python file for it. So let's create a function as check underscore anagram which would be returning true if the two strings that is passed as the parameters are anagrams of each other, otherwise it would be returning false. So check anagram, we are taking in two inputs as str1 and str2 as the parameters. Let's just since we were asked to perform case insensitive operations wherever necessary, let's convert both of the strings to the same case. In this case I am converting both of them into an uppercase. Okay, so str1 is equal to str1 dot upper and str2 is equal to str2 dot upper. I converted both of the strings to an uppercase. Let's just create a dictionary that would be keeping count of the numbers of occurrences of each letters. Okay, and let's just also create a position underscore count dictionary that would be keeping a list of the positions where the particular letter occurs. Okay, so the first dictionary would be letter underscore count, which would be keeping count of the number of letters for a particular letter in a word. And the second would be position underscore check, that would be keeping in count of the positions where the particular letter has occurred. Since a particular letter can occur in multiple positions, therefore the value of the particular dictionary would be in lists and the keys would obviously be letters. Okay, so first let's just populate the dictionaries. So we are using the first string in order to populate both of these dictionaries. So if for I in range str len of str 1 if str1 of I is already present in letter underscore count, then we would be increasing its frequency by 1. str1 of I refers to the letter of the particular word. If that letter is already present in letter underscore count, we would be increasing its frequency by 1, and we would be appending its position to the particular position underscore check key. Okay, so letter underscore count of str1 I would be 1 more than the initial frequency plus 1, and we would be appending this position to my initial position list that was present in the position underscore check. So position underscore check of str1I is the list, and we would be appending the current position of the letter to it. If the letter has not already occurred in the letter underscore count, we would be creating a new key as letter underscore count of str1 of I is equal to 1. Since this is occurring, this is the first occurrence of that particular letter, we would be assigning the particular key or the letter a value of 1. And now for the position underscore check, we would be first creating an assigning an empty list to the particular letter, and then we would be appending the current position to that list. So what we would do here, that position underscore check of str1 of I is equal to an empty list, and we would be appending position underscore check of str1 of I dot append. We would be appending its current position. So that is how we would be populating the dictionaries with respect to the first string. So in order to check whether the second string is an anagram of the first string, we must ensure that each time the same letter occurs in the second string or str2, we must delete the occurrence. We must reduce the occurrence or the frequency in the letter underscore count by 1. If the frequency reaches to 0, that is, there are no more occurrences of that letter in str1, so we must remove that particular key. And if the letter again occurs in str2, it is automatically not an anagram, so we must remove it, and we would check again. If the particular letter is not present in the letter underscore count, then it is not an anagram. Also, at the end of the loop, we must check whether the letter underscore count has the length of 0 or not. If both of the strings are equal and both of the strings have the same occurrences of the letter, then are anagram, and both of them have the same occurrences of the letter, then the length of the dictionary must reach to a 0. If the length is 0, then it is an anagram. Otherwise, it says that str2 has more letters, or the same letter occurs more number of time rather than str1, therefore it would not be an anagram. Also, the second check that we must apply, that if the letter is present in the same position as in str1, we must return a false. So let's just iterate for our second string. For I in range, len of str2. So now we are going letter by letter for the second string. If str2 of I or the letter is present in letter underscore count, then we must reduce the frequency of that particular letter by 1. So letter underscore count of, it would not be str1 here, it would be str2 here. If str2 of I in letter underscore count, that is, the particular letter is present in letter underscore count from string 2, we must reduce its occurrence by 1. So letter underscore count of str underscore 2 is equal to letter underscore count of str2 of I. We would reduce it by 1, and also the we would have to check for the position. If I in position underscore check of str2 of I. So what does this particular condition mean? So I am in I am saving the index of the as I'm iterating through the second string. In I am getting the index. If the index is already present in the position underscore check of that particular letter, that means the letters are occurring in the same position. And what we must do, if the letters are occurring in the same position, we must say that it is not an anagram. So as soon as this condition satisfies, we must return a false. So return false. And if the letter is not present in the letter underscore count, that means that both of them do not have the same letter or the same occurrences of letter. So we must return false again here. And after iterating through string 2, we have to apply a last condition. That is, if the length of the dictionary, that is letter underscore count, since we are reducing the occurrences by 1, and also we have to add another thing here, that is, if the letter underscore count of str2 of I is equal to 0, that is, there are no more occurrences of that particular letter left in letter underscore count, we must pop this particular key out of the dictionary. So letter underscore count would be popping this particular key out of the dictionary and pop str2 of I. So if the length of letter underscore count reaches 0, that means we have successfully reduced the length of the letter underscore count to 0. That is, both of the strings have the same occurrences of letters and with the same frequency as well, and we must return true then. Otherwise, it would be saying that str2 has more letters or it has different letters, and the occurrences of letters in str2 is different. So we must return false in this case again. So this is our function for anagram. Let's just call this particular function and pass the test cases that have been provided to us. So the first test case is eat and tea. Let's just provide that as the parameters, eat and tea, and let's see what we are getting as our output here. So we are getting true. So these particular two strings are anagrams of each other. And now for the main test, whether if the same letters are there and if they are occurring in the same position, we must return false. So for backward and drawback, let's just pass them as the parameter here. Let's run our code. Yes, and we are getting false here. So although backward and drawback, both of them have the same letters, but both of them have a that is occurring in the same position. So we must return a false, and it would not be an anagram. Now let's check for case insensitive operations. As you can see here, R is capital here, but there are no capital R present in the second string, but we were told to assume that we would be performing case insensitive operations wherever necessary. So we had converted both of the strings to an uppercase. Let's check whether our particular code also satisfies this particular test case, and it must return true. Yeah, so discounted and reductions, both of them are anagrams of each other. And for the last test case, that is about and table, let's just copy this particular test case and pass them as a parameters to our function. And run our code, and we are getting false. So as you can see guys, a particular function has successfully satisfied all of the test cases, and we are getting the expected output as we had seen in the document given here. So thanks for watching this video guys. I hope this helped you. See you in the next one.